Hello and welcome to Conquered with your one and only Miss Shally. Today in the house, he is one of South Africa's successful young DJs. He has a reputation of pleasing a diverse crowd in clubs and on radio. Temba, or should I say DJ Euphonik, welcome.
But when I introduce myself as Temba at all times. So.
And well, why is that?
I don't know. Well, I think Temba is the name that's on my ID. And Euphonik is a street name. It's the name that of the alter ego, I suppose. So when I do introduce myself to people, I introduce myself personally.
Is that a way to maybe humble yourself?
No, not at all.
Try to keep down to earth?
No, not at all. I mean, I come from a family where I was taught if I'm going to walk into a room, then I must greet everyone that's in the room, irrespective of whether I know them or have met them before. So when I walk into a room, I always make a point to greet everyone that's that I'm seeing.
Wow.
Yeah.
What made you have so much interest in music?
Well, I wasn't great at sports. I wasn't academically. I don't think I was smart, but not I wouldn't apply myself to things that I didn't want to apply myself to. Mm-hmm. And I think music was the one thing that allowed me to get away from all of that, the things that people were singing about, the things that people were rapping about, some of the the themes of the songs, some of the instruments in the songs would allow your imagination to run away. And I think I fell in love with music when I was 11 years old. And I'd bunk physical education, they called it PE back then, and sit with my Walkman and just listen to music, and I was happy to do that. You know what I'm saying? After school, I'd get home, and instead of watching cartoons like normal kids, I'd be in my garage at home, listening to music or practicing how to DJ. And with my tax money that I used to get for school, I never used to buy food at school. I used to always make a lunchbox at home and then save up money and then go and buy records with the money that I used to get from tax.
Oh wow! So you said you'd go in the garage and practice to your DJing. Did you have some sort of equipment?
Yeah, I managed to hustle my dad to get me some equipment when I was I think 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the time, I was it was basic. It was I got one turntable and I got a CD player and I had a professional DJ mixer. So I used to juggle in between the three.
And what happened to school? You were 11 years old.
Yeah.
And you are so into DJing. Did you continue with school? What happened with that journey?
With school. I mean, I come from a very academic family, so my parents wouldn't allow me to just say no, I'm not going to do school because I'm trying to be a DJ. And I mean, also back then, being a DJ wasn't considered to be a viable career path that anyone could take. So I was allowed to DJ as a hobby until I got to matric. When I got to matric, my parents were like, okay, cool. You're going to have to put all these things away and focus on your matric because this is the final lap. This is the most important year of your high school schooling. So focus on matric, pass matric, and then afterwards, go to varsity, forget about this DJing thing. So which, I remember that year was a very difficult year for me because, one, this is a big passion of mine, and two, it's anything that you're passionate about. If you're not doing it for a long time, you constantly have the itch to do it, and you end up doing it behind your parents' back or hiding the fact that you're doing it. Fortunately, I passed matric and I went to varsity. I used to go to RAU, what was called RAU then, it's called UJ, Auckland Park now, and I started doing financial management. And I did financial management because I was interested in the finances in the business sector, but I actually wasn't interested in the actual, I didn't want to be a financial manager. I only did it because my parents said you need to do something that's serious. And at the time there were no schools that you could go to study about how to be a DJ. So the only way you could learn how to be a DJ was from other people that were DJing and the streets. So I remember I used to juggle my time between varsity and learning off the streets about this DJing thing. Yeah. And I think to take a little bit of a rewind, in high school I was already reading up on DJs, comparing myself with which DJ I would be able to mix, which DJ can I produce, if I was gonna take any two songs, how was I gonna mix these two songs in comparison to how this DJ did it. So when I was eventually out on the streets, researching or looking at what being a DJ is all about, like I already had like a lot of info and knowledge about it, and I knew exactly where I was going, and I knew exactly what I was looking for. So it wasn't like a fact-finding mission. It was like, this is what I need to get done. Like, where do I get this kind of a thing done? And then in 2006 I dropped out of varsity because just like it really wasn't working for me. Like I like to put my time and effort into things that I'm very passionate about, and I wasn't passionate about the subjects that I was studying at school. All I wanted to do was be a DJ, and there were no DJ courses. So yeah.
So when you dropped out of school, what did your parents say?
No, my parents weren't impressed, obviously. I mean, but I basically like structured it like right, because I mean, like I was making money off DJing, and I said to my parents, listen, like I don't want to waste your money with school. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm not enjoying the course that I'm doing, and I want to change courses. So I changed to a BCom marketing. And I basically said, cool, I'll change and I'll pay for all the costs of changing, and from here on going forward, like I'll handle my own school fees, because I was making a little bit of money from like the DJ circuits. So I basically like took that cost off them, and I started paying for my own varsity life. So when I did decide like I'm dropping out, I was dropping out because, listen, it's my decision, and you're not paying for the school fees. So you know what I'm saying? But like still, my parents were like not impressed at all, because first of all, I'm the eldest son. So like, you know how the pressure is when you're the eldest son, and they're like, yeah, you need to be a good example. So like dropping out definitely wasn't a good example.
So did you finish later? You took the marketing?
No, like I didn't finish. And I mean, like even when I have gone back to varsity or to go do courses, like I did a short course at Wits, a property course at Wits, and I went to every single class. But when it came to the exam, I didn't write the exam, because for me, I was like, I've got all the knowledge that I need, and in the bigger scheme of things, a certificate's not going to do anything for me anyway. So I'm not going to put myself through the stress of writing an exam so I can have a nice piece of paper on the wall. And the difference between me and every other person that was in that class with me when I was doing that property course is that I'd go to class the next day, I'd wake up and be able to apply the things that I learned the day before. And I met one of the guys that was in the class, and he was like, I passed that thing, but I still haven't done anything with it. I haven't done anything property related. And you know, for me, education is about not even education, just knowledge. Is about what you do with it. Like, it's okay to have a lot of knowledge, but what are you doing with the knowledge?
Yeah. And earlier you said you would compare yourself to certain DJs, and you know, say, this is what I want to achieve. Which DJs were you comparing yourself to?
I've always been a go-getter, so I always went for the top. So I went right for the top. I always believe if you want to get involved into any industry, you need to see who are the key players, and you need to. There's a quote that says, "Work so hard that your mentors become your rivals," or like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I literally went for the top, and I found out like who are the top DJs, like from all aspects. I mean, like DJing's got like a lot of different aspects. So from like a A&R and music selection point of view, like I picked a person. From a radio DJ point of view, I picked a person. From a business slash DJ, businessman slash DJ, I picked a person. So basically, like I looked at all elements of what these guys were doing and what was making them so successful, and I basically did SWOT analysis on all of them. Like, so what's this guy's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and what are the threats? And I basically compared myself up with them. And the one thing about anything that you want to do in life is that you have to be honest with yourself, you know. So like I think I was even till this day, I'm brutally honest with myself about anything that I want to do. And I'll tell you that, like, listen, I might be good at this, but in the bigger scheme of things, I suck at it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And how old were you when you got your first gig?
I was 14, and I mean, like, that it wasn't even like I was just going to a friend's house and playing the music that I have collected over like the few years, and it just so happened that like that was called DJing, and my friend was like come DJ at my sister's birthday. I was like, what is DJing? And I remember like playing my music, and it wasn't like as complicated as what DJing is now, but I remember playing my music and seeing how like people were like responding or not responding to music, and it like made me want to make them respond to every single song that I was playing. And I saw like some people laugh, some people like walk off, some people cry, some people like sing, and like, you know what I'm saying? So like that's what made me want to be a DJ. Like because I'm very passionate about music, and I think if you're passionate about something, you want to share it with the world. And for me, sharing the music that like I had and was making was through being a DJ.
Now, did you get any negative feedbacks?
Obviously, man. I mean, like, I get negative feedback till this day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you need to take every single piece of feedback with a pinch of salt. You know what I'm saying? Take it as constructive criticism. So, like, you could say to me, like, Euphonik, you're the worst DJ in the world, and like, I wouldn't stop asking you until you told me exactly why you thought I was the worst DJ in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, that is constructive criticism. I can take that information and be able to make myself a better DJ. And also, it also ties in with being honest with yourself. Like, I can say, you know, it's like 10 people said I played an amazing set and 2 people said I didn't. It means that like the majority are probably right. But like also like, I'll also try and figure out like, what is it about my music or my set that these 2 people didn't like. So
or
like,
maybe they fall under the haters part.
Yeah, criticism comes like, I mean, like it's nature. It comes from all angles. You could be doing anything and people will hate on you for whatever.
Yeah. So what is it that you did that made people to start to recognize you, to say, oh, there is that DJ, he is quite good?
I think taking the road less traveled. And like I said, like understanding that, like what the play of the land looked like, understanding which DJs were doing what, and saying, okay, cool. So if everyone's doing this, what is it that everyone's not doing? And I started doing the things that people weren't doing. And I remember at the time, like a lot of people were buying buying music to DJ, and I was like, okay, cool. One of the angles here is to make your own music as a South African DJ. So I started making music. One of the things is like every DJ was sitting waiting for people to call them and book them. I was like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna sit and wait. I'll make my own parties and charge people to come and listen to me DJ. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's definitely a career that I've built like one day at a time, one person at a time. And you, like the bigger you get, obviously you're able to affect more people and be able to open more doors. But I still think that like you build your career one person at a time.
Can you take us back to when 5FM called you saying they wanted you to start your own show? I read an article that said you turned it down the first time.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I've always been a mixed DJ, someone that like just mixes and plays music, whether it's on the radio or like in the clubs. And I got offered the opportunity to actually sit behind the mic and present a show. And it wasn't in my plan. It wasn't one of the things that I wanted to do. It wasn't one of the things that I wanted to go get. But I was like, okay, cool. No, but like, let me go and think about this thing. And you know, when I did think about it, I was like, there's a reason why God is putting this on my table. So let me just take it with both hands and see where it gets me. You know what I'm saying? And also, I think the fact that I was being allowed to sit on the radio and play my music without like anyone interfering with that was one of the angles that sold me as well. So I mean, like I've been doing that show for like 7 years now, and it's one of the big dance shows in the country. Yeah.
So what type of challenges would you say you're facing, though you're now a big brand in South Africa? What type of challenges are you facing still?
Well, at the moment, I would say the biggest challenge is probably myself. It's probably like in a Temba, in a Euphonik, that you know, like you want to do a lot of things, but you have to be realistic about like what it is that you're doing and at what time that you're doing. Because also I think when you are as big a brand as what Euphonik is now, like it's not just about you. Whereas when I was like still up and coming, it was like, what am I doing? What am I doing for me? Now there's like it's very dynamic, you know. So you have to think and consider everything that you do, because it affects your staff, it affects your business partners, it affects like a lot of people that it affects your fans, most importantly, it affects your family, you know what I'm saying? So I think some of the biggest challenges at the moment for me is just, first of all, like what next? Number two, I think as far as South Africa is concerned, you can only do so much as a DJ before you need to like expand to the world. And in order to expand to the world, you need to leave your comfort zones and head off to the world and try and conquer the world from from where the world is, you know,
Yes.
and which is why I've been doing a lot of traveling to the US and and Europe at the moment, just to understand. And I think I've done it here before, so I can do it there. And I'm one person that like won't move into something until I completely understand what the playing field is like. So at the moment I'm doing a lot of research about like overseas markets and like what people are doing and how they're doing it, what the game's like, so that like when I'm ready to conquer it, I do it. Also, I think one of the challenges are people wanting to constantly pry on your personal life, which I mean, like that comes, it's part of the package, you know what I mean? And you have to be very, very like, you need to understand who you are and know yourself, because the entertainment industry, if you don't know who you are, it shows you who you are. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you'll crumble under pressure. You will go into the industry saying, this is what I want to do, and other people will be like, oh no, you're not, like, you're so good at this, please help us with this. And 5 years later you find yourself that like, damn, like I actually didn't get anything that I wanted to get done, but I was doing everything that other people saw in me. You know what I'm saying? So like, fine, I'm here, but this is not where I actually want to be. Do you know what I'm saying? So like there's a lot of different challenges, and also just dealing in a country that like is like South Africa. Like I mean, like I spent some time in Europe. In Europe, the phones work well, data is cheap, transport systems operate. So if you're in South Africa, when you wake up, already the world is against you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like getting from one place to another is an issue. If someone in the US is like, upload that 100 gig file for us, it's going to take you a week to upload a 100 gig file, whereas them it takes them 10 minutes to upload it. Do you know what I'm saying? So like there's a lot of different dynamics that like come into play, especially if you want to take on the world.
True. And what's very interesting about you, you've got this creative entrepreneurial spirit. You have started some businesses on the side. What has motivated you to do that?
Well, I mean, being a DJ, first of all, is basically reliant on how other people think of you. So like if people think you're cool, then like you're in the scene and you get booked and like you're playing at all the big parties. But the minute they don't think you're cool, then like, you know what I mean, it slows down and it stops. And I mean, like, this is, if Michael Jackson can have issues, if Madonna can have issues, like Euphonik will one day have his own set of issues. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like getting involved in businesses, to be able to say that like, you know what, like I don't feel like working today and I don't feel like working this whole month, but there's other things that are still bringing in income. And I think a big mistake that a lot of musicians, DJs, entertainment industry people make, the biggest mistake that they make is that you constantly focus on building this thing that like at the end of the day you can't sell it. Like I can't sell Euphonik to anyone, because if I'm not there, it's not working. If I break my arms, like everything comes to an absolute halt. So as an artist, as a person that is reliant on your physical being to be at places in order to generate income, I think you have a big responsibility to make sure that you're doing other things on the side that like will bring you an income.
So do you think it's tougher now to be a DJ than it was when you first started?
Well, I mean, like there's different dynamics. Look, it's easier to get into the industry. It's easier to like today you can wake up this morning, go buy 2 turntables and a mixer and call yourself a DJ, whatever you want to call yourself, you know what I'm saying, and you're a DJ. So it's easy to become a DJ. So it's easy to get into the scene, but to maintain and be consistent is the difficult part. So I mean, like for me, like it's exciting because well, I find it exciting. Basically means that like a lot of us can want to be DJs, but like only a few of us will actually make it to being like the likes of Euphonik, Tiesto, Avicii, Fresh, or Roger Good. Like only a few of us can do it, and even that is a lot of hard work, because if you're not consistently working at it, there's always somebody that's ready and available to fill your gap.
And you know, you mentioned something which is very interesting, how people want to get into the industry and they cannot, but the challenge is to stay relevant, which in your case, you have managed to stay relevant for more than a decade. How have you managed to achieve that?
Well, I think it's not trying too hard to stay relevant. It's just like I'm passionate about this thing, so I do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm always looking and finding interesting ways to like stay relevant. Also, if you are anything, whether you're a plumber or whatever it is you want to be, you also need a team of people that are going to help you achieve the things, because like you go alone, you get there, we go together, we get there quicker. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So also the support system that you have is crucial. It's very crucial to you being relevant, and also just like knowing what it is that you want and stand for at all times. Like I said, I can meet you here today, and based on how you're speaking to me, I can say, oh, you're actually a very good singer. Let's make some music. 5 years later, like, you're in a band and you're like, all I ever wanted to do was be a TV presenter. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like knowing who you are and what you're in here for is also very important.
And that was Pemba. Thank you for watching.